Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Morning Leap session for Tuesday, April the 3rd, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses. These are our trade plans. We do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we put scenarios together or hypos together based on who takes control of the auction. And we have our two main hypotheses, and then we have our two alternative hypotheses, which are our trend or breakout trading days. And of course, yesterday we saw a perfect example of being in hypo 1 and then breaking down and flipping over to hypo 4 and getting that big spike down to 25.52. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to in the pre-market, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day for our members. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and the trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So taking a look at yesterday, we are looking for a balancing day. Typically, yesterday should have been a quiet day with the European holiday. We were looking for hypo 1, an open auction, a push up into the gap and possibly up into the VPOC from Thursday, and then rotating down and basically chopping in this lower distribution and going sideways. We talked about the 6-day microcomposite over underline. We said if that got broken, that we were likely to push down into the 2601, and below that it could get ugly. Now I was looking for my hypo 4 for a move down into the 95 with a possible push down into the 89, and then finding a base and rotating back up and closing somewhere in the 2596 to 2603 area. What we got was a lot deeper spike and got down all the way to the 2552, basically went sideways. We created a B-shaped profile, which is a long liquidation. This was a emotional sell. Once we broke the 2600, the sellers just started piling on, and we got a lot lower. The buyers did step in down in the 2563 area and rotated us up, and we closed at the 2576 area, which was basically where our VPOC finally found. Overnight inventory is 100% net long. Basically, we opened the evening, dipped down a couple ticks, and basically we've been just grinding our way up towards that 2600. There are a couple TPO singles that we want to pay attention to. There is one at 89. This still remains valid until it's touched in the RTH session. There's another one at 99 and a quarter. There's one up here at 26.10 and a quarter, and another one up at 26.21. But before we get too deep into the analysis, let's check the economic calendar today. There's not a lot of news today. We've got Red Book coming out in 4 minutes. We've got Kashkari from the Fed speaking in 39 minutes. And we've got ISM New York business conditions in 54 minutes. And then that's about it. We've got the 4-week bill auction at 11:30 Eastern. We do have IBD, tip economic optimism, but it's not usually a mover at 10 o'clock. And then we've got car and truck sales, out throughout the day. And Other than that, we've got crude API weekly at 130. I'm sorry, 230, and I'm sorry, that's 430. What am I thinking of? So after the market closes, then we've got Brainerd speaking as well. But really, not a lot of news today. And after the big move down, we had our weekly uh, uh, ATR. Last week we were 88.75. We put in yesterday alone 89.50. So that is a huge daily range. Something we've seen a lot of with this volatility. Big spike in the VIX yesterday. But for the most part, the buyers have stepped back in. We're working our way back up into the 2600. My over underline is going to be 260150. Key line in the sand above is our over underline from yesterday. If we get back above that 2613, which is the 6-day micro composite, we're right back into the balance that we broke out of yesterday, and basically they've taken it back. Key line in the sand below is down here at 25.69. If we don't hold that, I'm looking for them to come down and take out the weekly, monthly low down at the 52 that we put in yesterday. And remember, last month's low is down here at 25.29, and we do have a lot of repair. Our daily ATR is running right now at 48.16, so off of the high overnight, the low overnight of 25.75.50. Our upside daily ATR target is 26.23.75. And so far, and again, we could put in a higher high for the Globex, but right now it's at 25.95.75. And this will probably have to be adjusted to 25.47.50. And that's below yesterday's range low. So always keep that in mind, and that's one of the things I said yesterday. Keep in mind that our daily ATR to the downside put us, deep down into the 2500s. So with these ranges, we have capability of going all the way up into the 26-23 area, or all the way down and putting in new week low, monthly low. Take a look at the macro to micro, something I always do every morning to keep myself, don't want that shirt, keep myself grounded in terms of where we are in the bigger picture. Of course, the monthly, we had the 14 months of one-time framing up. February broke below the one-time framing, tested the 9 EMA, and then we had an inside month last month in March, and so far in April we've come down and tested below, and we're currently basically sitting right just below the 9 EMA. So the trend is being challenged, but it has not been violated. That won't happen. And again, this is important, that the trend really doesn't get violated till we get down in the 2450 area. So we've got a lot of room we can go down, and that does not mean that the upward trend is been violated. Going to the weekly, as we mentioned yesterday, a little bit different story. We've had these inside weeks, and we broke below the 9 and the 20 2 weeks ago. We failed to get back above last week, and so far this week we're holding below, and we are looking at a possible trend change on the weekly. Going to the daily, you can see that we're starting to get slope and separation to the downside, and we're holding below the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA is all the way up at 2632 area, so that's still above our average true range. So I'm really looking for an inside day today, and just a pause to go sideways. We've got the range to stay inside today, and this could turn out to be a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky on the daily. Not saying it is yet because it's not completed, but it's possible. We do have a good example of a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky tech gap on the 4-hour. You can see we had the big spike down, then into the close we had a bit of a doji, then we had the Mr. Sneaky. There's the technical gap, and we have come up and we're closing the gap. The gap gets closed up here at the 25.9850. But for the most part, we've got a downward trend, but we've lost some slope and separation. So we're kind of balancing out. It's going to be important if we get back above that 26.0150 area for a possible move up into the 20, and that 20 period moving average is just below the 6-day microcomposite VPOC and our key line in the sand above at the 2613 area. Just going down one more to the 30-minute. You can see that we created a basing pattern, and we're going sideways, and we've got some slope and separation. So the overall, Globex session is a positive session. So what I'm going to be looking for on the open is, currently right now we've got a zipper measured move up to that 25.97 and a quarter area. So I'm looking for some expansion and new overnight high. We're just putting in a new overnight high here. So we do have to make those adjustments as we move. Our gap is all the way down at the 25.76. We're 20-point gap. So you have to also put into the probability here, which really mixes things up, is the fact that over 15-point gap gives a very low probability of filling that gap. Now, with the volatility, I think it's quite possible that we can fill the gap. So what is my hypothesis for the day? I'm looking for an inside day. I do not expect to break the overnight yesterday's high or low. I'm looking for a open auction in range. There's no value yesterday. I'm looking for a takeout of the overnight high right away because we're going to be banging on it. And I'm looking for a move up in to test the 2600 and somewhere between the 2601 and the 2610 area. I'm looking for responsive sellers to step in and rotate us back down into this TPO single at 89, push down into the 77, and basically chop between the two distribution zones of the lower profile. The one being the VPOC at 77.75 and the other one being the 64. And I'm expecting to play ping pong here between these two HVNs of the lower distribution. That is my hypo 1. Hypo 2 is an open auction in range, a move down to the 77, chop around in this, close the gap, take out the overnight low, push down into the 64, find buyers, and start rotating us back up towards the 2600 and closing somewhere around the 95. That is my hypo 2. Hypo 3 is a take back day. And if we see an open drive and buyers stepping in with volume and we get back above the 2601, I'm looking for continuation up into the 13, balancing around the 13, and basically chopping up there with late day probe up to test and take out the TPO single up here at the 21 and closing back down somewhere in the 13 area and back into this balance here. You can see that the longer time frame from the breakdown day, the value area is at 43.50. We created the 6 days of balance. We fell out of that balance. The value area low is at 26.0150. That's why it's my over underline. If we get back above it, we're in balance. I'm looking for the continuation up into the 13 area of the balance of those 6 days. Below, there's not a lot below. The next big target below is down here in the 39.25 area, and of course the February low down in the 29 area. And the real big, the longer time frame, and I'm going to bring this all the way over. Is that the wrong one? Oh, I've already got it over. This balance down here is going to be huge down here, and that of course takes us down into the 2300. That's when I think the trend will be in place to the downside for further continuation. But until that happens, again, we're still in this upward trend. So hypo 3 is a take back day, and then of course a breakdown day. We hypo 4 open auction, in range, wide opening swings, testing the 2600, failing to hold the 2600, moving down into the 77, 76 area, chopping, failing, coming down to the 64, chopping, failing. Sounds like hypo 1. Then we break down, okay, below the prior day range and the week monthly low, and we don't hold the daily ATR, and we come down into that 39. I forgot to put the 39 and a quarter. And coming down into this 35 to 39 area and closing down here as breakdown day. So those are my 4 main hypotheses. Taking a look at gold quickly. Yesterday in gold, we were looking for them to get back above the 41, push up into the other side of this balance and test the value area high of the 50. And then if we broke the 50, we're looking for a push up into the 54. We got up to the other side of this this distribution zone to the value area high and the CLVN and failed, came back down and closed right around that 45 again. And overnight, we've broken down and testing the lower side of that distribution zone and holding so far. So this becomes our over underline at 41. Anything below 41, look for a push down into the 37 and possibly to the lower side of that balance at 34. Anything below 34, we're back down to our key balance, which is down here at 32. Our 2-day value, our VPOC is at the 41 area, and we're currently chopping around that right now. So key areas to keep an eye on, 45, if we come up here and accept this price again, look for them to push through, and this time I would expect them to break out of value and get the breakout day and the push up into the 54. If we fail to hold the 41 and we break below that level, then look for them down to 37. I don't think we're going to get back all the way to the 32 today. I think that we'll get stuck in this area between the 50 and the 37. So that's what I'm looking at in gold. That's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.